everyone, this is Sherry and this is the video that goes along with day 1 of the 7-day Creativity Jumpstart. Okay, first off, I just want to stress that each and every single one of these days could probably be a course and a workbook in and of itself. So really this is just scratching the surface of the work you need to do to start getting the creativity flowing. However, I kind of think of this workbook as almost like a quick detox. If you go ahead and try these detox diets, sure, you might lose your 2 pounds for a week, but then if next week you go right back to your old habits, it's coming right back and nothing is going to change long term. So this book really is a jump start. It's not supposed to be something that's going to change your life forever, but it is something that I hope that you keep going back to and gets your thoughts open, start moving towards the direction you need to go in order to open up your life to creativity and really living the life that you really want to live through your creativity. So again, different people will be at different levels. So if you find that maybe you're doing this with a friend and your friend has done some of this internal work before and they're going much deeper into the questions than you can, that's fine. Again, this is not about judgment. It's not about judging yourself. It's purely where I am right now. What do I have to do to move forward? And if next time I have to do something else, then you do something else. It's really about looking inside and finding out what you have to do to live the creative life that you want to live. Okay. So, today's questions is mostly about self-trust, looking at your creativity, and your comfort zone. And this is something that I find that most people have real issues with, myself included, because as soon as you start moving beyond your comfort zone, you start shutting yourself down. You want to protect yourself. You say, oh no, this is not where I want to be, and oh, I'm vulnerable, I'm exposed, and people can take pot shots at me and no one's going to like it and it's stupid. All these things that every single creative person and every single person feels, because I believe that everyone's creative. I know that we kind of do this thing where we separate people into creative and non-creative people. I don't believe that. I think there's people who live from the creativity and people who don't live from the creativity. And there's people who embrace being creative and people who kind of been shut down as children and kind of go with, no, I'm not that type of person. So this is not, like I said, it has a lot of work. So I believe that everyone is creative and that most of it comes down to your comfort zone. And today's questions have less to do about the art itself. I understand that different people want to go in different directions. This is not going to be, shall I write an erotic part in my novel or an erotic novel, or can I write about certain types of violence, or do I want to go down a religious line in my books? That's the topics themselves. That's not what we're looking at in today's not lesson but workbook activities. Instead, this is more about looking at the external influences and how you're reacting to people's reactions or your own reactions to other people's reactions. This particular mess that can stop you from writing or creating whatever it is you want to write or create. So, yes, I'm not going to go over the questions, they're in the book. However, the things I want you to be thinking about when you're answering the questions that are in the book is to dig a little bit deeper every time. So instead of thinking to yourself, because everybody thinks that way, I want you to think, why do you believe that everyone thinks that way? And why is it okay for you to believe what everyone else believes? And so this is something that is not so easy, because we often can come up with, well, everyone knows that. Well, how does everyone know that? And why do you believe what everyone else says? So just for an example, I think that one way that a lot of people have problems is in terms of money. They think, I don't have the time to create. I need to work so many hours a week. Then I don't have money for babysitting. And I also don't have the time for this. I got to take the kids here, there. There's always a reason, an excuse. And I'm not saying that they're not valid. I'm sure they are. However, I want you to question a little bit deeper. Why are you putting them first? And so even when it comes down to work, okay, well, I work a really hectic job that makes me unhappy. Okay, I know you need a job. I'm not saying people should quit your jobs. I think I'm not this person who believes that, trust in the universe, jump, quit everything, and it'll all fall into place. No, you need to eat. You need to pay for your rent. And if you're not making those basic expenses, then your creative work has to be a side project. I'm really happy for anyone who can let go and achieve massive success. However, don't come to me saying, I took your advice and it didn't happen, because I'm not giving that advice. I think meet your basic standards, work on your creativity on the side, and hopefully if you want it to be one day your job, you can eventually build it up that way. Instead, what I'm saying is, do you really need to be putting in the hours you're putting in? Do you need to be working the job you're working? Do you need to have the house or the apartment you have? Do you need to have the clothes you have? One thing that we really found when we first started travel was that a lot of our friends who made even more money than us were saying to us, how can you afford to take 3 months to a year off every year almost? I mean, we were taking 6 weeks or 3 months off for the first couple of years we were together. And then right before we decided to have our first child, we took 14 months off to travel the world. And so we have a lot of friends who say, how can you even do that? And our answer is, look at your house, look at ours. Look at your car, look at ours. Look at your clothes, look at ours. We actively make the choice to spend way less money on material things, and that money then goes into a savings account, which we can then use to further our travels and take that time off because we've chosen not to spend money on these things. Now, I'm not saying, you can't have a coffee or whatever, but what I am saying is every single time you spend money, it is a choice, and you need to make a choice. Okay, do I want to have some time to myself and have creativity? Is a babysitter more important to me than, say, going out every single weekend, going to the movies, going for drinks, going for restaurants, buying clothes, having nice jewelry, having the latest books? Every single time you make a choice to buy something, you are choosing that more time to work. So I think that's something that really helped me actually was when I was teaching English. I wasn't happy teaching English. And so I started looking at things as, well, that's 1 hour with this particular group I don't like. I mean, the groups I liked were like, yeah, okay, I can totally justify that. That's an hour with that person. But with the groups I didn't like, it was like, oh no, maybe I don't want that. It's no longer worth it. And so basically, when it comes to money and people's choices, I think that we always just think, oh, I just can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. But instead of just going with, I can't afford it, look a bit deeper and see what you can afford and what you are choosing and why. I mean, for me, myself, I love going and having my coffee. For me, that is my dream. I was actually talking about this with a friend not that long ago, that sometimes I feel the pressure that I'm not doing enough. I'm not working enough. I'm not fast enough with my creative books. I'm not fast enough with my turkey book, which I'm working on at the moment, that I need to be doing more. And that's also counterproductive. Because when I think back and I think, okay, what is it that I want and I need? I really enjoy going to one of the local coffee shops here in Berlin, getting a nice coffee, sitting there, writing for the morning, getting some work done, and coming home and then being a mom once I get home. And for me, that's extremely fulfilling. And then I always wonder, well, why am I pushing myself so hard? If this is a dream of mine and what I want to do, and sometimes I look at myself and go, oh, we're buying a sailboat and we're planning on spending 2 months this summer sailing, and I'm telling people not to buy coffees, and I'm buying a coffee. No, you can decide what you want to buy, what you need, and if what you want and need is a nice car and nice clothes and lovely coffees, I'm not saying you can't have that and a creative life at the same time. What I am saying is that you need to look at why you want it, decide if you truly want it, and then decide what you need to give up in order to have both. Because I find that most of us won't be able to have both, everything they want and the creative life and lots and lots of time. We all have 24 hours in a day. And I think the important thing is to start looking at where our choices are coming from, why we make the choices we make, and how much of this is then influencing us both in terms of our creativity, what we feel comfortable putting out there. Like I said, for myself too, these videos are not so easy to make. This is definitely outside my comfort zone, and I'm kind of forcing myself now to do it because I think it's a way to meet people and to expose my work in a way that otherwise would never have happened, and also because it doesn't hurt. I mean, it does hurt, but the more I'm doing it, this is my 3rd video now, it becomes easier each and every time. And I think today I might actually get more than one done. I'm really going to push myself to try to get all 7 days done today. So I'm just, yeah, Okay, and like I said, I'm still a beginner with this, so excuse me. But what I really want you to do is look at, what I like to think of is, am I in a golden cage or not? And the golden cage is when it looks really nice from the outside and other people are looking in going, wow, that person is so lucky. And the person inside is going, crap, I'm in a cage and I hate it. So yes, I'm gonna let you go now. Go look at your questions, but really think about that when you're looking at your different questions today. When I'm making a decision, who's really making that decision? Am I making that decision? Is my third grade teacher making that decision? Am I looking at other people? Am I really looking out for myself? And that there's a big difference between being selfish and self-sacrificing. And so, again, today you're just scratching the surface, but really starting to think about and examine these questions. So go ahead, pull out your workbook, try to get some work done, and yeah, hopefully that helps with some of the questions. Okay, see you next time.